Hey everyone, I'm back and I have a message all about our connections. So pumped and excited to share this one with you guys because I am super drained. Okay, there's a paradox, but I'm totally drained, and the reason why is because I haven't been really deeply connecting with people, and part of what energizes me the most is when I get real depth of connection. And that's why I was called to share today's message with you guys, which is all about the fact that people are not boring. They are just inexperienced with depth. And if you're bored, you're the problem, right? And so part of this is, we're all so connected to technology. As we know, we've heard it time and time again. There's plenty of articles telling us how we need to switch our phones off and we need to do all different things to reconnect with people. But at the end of the day, when we are experiencing that in our connections, and you can just go to any sort of restaurant or cafe and you look around the room and everybody's on their phones, like there's a whole table of people and we're all on our phones and nobody's really connecting. And, the thing that gets everybody connected is, some video on our phone, some funny video, and we're sharing it around the table. And to me, like at this point in my life, that actually gets super exhausting. I don't know about you guys, but what happens is sometimes we just let that lead the charge. And I was finding like I didn't have anything to talk about, and trying to make conversation can get really difficult. And then at the end of the day, I was thinking about it and I was like, how could that have been better? Like, I was connecting with some people that I hadn't seen in forever. And that was kind of the dynamic that was coming up. And I didn't really click with me at the time as to how to make that better until after. And I'm like, well, like people are not boring, right? If I'm feeling bored, that says more about, me not being able to communicate and get curious about other people. And, I just have to reflect and go, most of us are pretty inexperienced about, just going deeply emotional, or, not even just deeply emotional, but just like having deep, interesting conversations, and so every single one of us, we all have our topics, right? We all have those things that really excite us and energize us. And, every single human being, doesn't matter how much time you spend with them and think that you know them, at the end of the day, you don't really, they're having their whole different world of experiences and you have no idea what's going on for them. So the moment you get curious is the moment you stop having to feel bored, right? Because get people on their topic, discover what their topic is, go deep, right? I always like to say, go deep or go home, because, our life is not, it's not meant to just be kind of on our phones, not really connecting, being disconnected from the world and feeling like we have nothing to talk about. Like any human being, I don't care who they are, I don't care how different they are to you. In fact, probably the more different, the more interesting they're going to be. But, be a person who gets curious, be somebody who gets to fascinate over other human beings and share what you're passionate about and excited about as well. And what I've also realized is some of the time when we get caught in those cycles of, disconnection, even though we're surrounded physically with people, it can oftentimes be because we're distracting ourselves from a deeper truth, that we're pretty bored with our lives, or we're a bit afraid, we feel a bit directionless or lacking clarity, and we don't want to be hit with the questions that are questioning us about who we are and what we're doing and all that stuff, because we don't know, and it's actually scary, and we're trying to distract ourselves from having to ask those deeper questions. But, at the end of the day, if that's what's going on, we kind of want to break free of that. And the way that we break free of that is to remove the distractions and the addictions and to actually face what we don't maybe want to, but in an environment and a dynamic where somebody's actually super interested in you and what you're passionate about. And if you go on the journey of having a deep conversation, then you oftentimes, get a lot of clarity within yourself, and you realize the things that you may be avoiding in communication are the very things that will set you free, right? And I've heard of all sorts of different things. I once heard of these people, I can't even remember what it was, but they made this like bet. So instead of, being on their phones all the time, the moment they went into a cafe or a restaurant or wherever they were with their friends or family or whoever, they would all stack their mobile phones on top of one another. And whoever grabbed their phone during that time would be the one to pay for lunch or dinner or whatever it is. And, and just be more conscious. And there's even been studies done that show that when you have a phone in eyesight, when you're having a one-on-one conversation or you're in a group, it's something like 25% drop in the level of connection just by having your phone present, right? So, I know it's so easy for us to get our hit of dopamine, when we've got, that alert just went off on our phone, like who is it and what is it, right? But at the end of the day, is it really worth having that hit of instant dopamine that's pretty unfulfilling when you have human beings around you that you can be learning from, that you can be going deep with, that you can be connecting with? And that's a hell of a lot more fulfilling in the long term. But what happens is we opt for short-term gratification over the long-term satisfaction. And that's really, what's ultimately going to cost us. But we won't wake up to it until we start future projecting about the connections, that how much more disconnected we're getting and how much we're just we're not really knowing the people around us. And I tell you what, if you run out of things to talk about, then it's really just you, not going deep enough, right? Not getting curious enough, not sharing openly enough, right? So there is absolutely no reason to get bored when you're around other people, when you know that you're gaining experience with your depth. And if other people, it's pretty difficult, sometimes we're around people who are pretty difficult to communicate with, just realize that they might be a bit inexperienced in depth. So be the leader and connect how you want to connect. So that's my message for you guys today. I've had a beautiful day, connecting with some people. And that was just one scenario at the time when I was like, oh, this is a bit draining, or this is not the level of depth and connection that's truly possible. And I was starting to question, why am I running out of things to say? Because that was a problem, because I forgot to get curious and to realize that, by getting people on their topics, you get to go a hell of a lot deeper and get to experience a hell of a lot more connection and maybe learn a thing or two. All right. So hope that this message has just been a reminder for you guys. It's nothing really new, but just to remind you to, put away the things that disconnect and distract and just fascinate over the human beings around you. And there is absolutely no reason to be bored with anyone. People are not boring. They're just maybe inexperienced with depth. Okay, so be the leader and grow that muscle in your own right as well. All right, I definitely want to check in with you guys and see who's been able to join me. Let me know, have you got any questions or words of wisdom, or you just want to say hi? I love connecting with you guys. But let me check in. I have got Tony and Giannis, Calimera. I love it. And Judy's here as well, and Emma and Jimmy and Tony. Hello to you, my friend. And Filippo's here as well, and Josie and Jared. Awesome to see each and every one of you guys. I know I'm super random at whatever time I can kind of squeeze in a Facebook Live, and I've been out all day today, and it's been pouring with rain, so it's really weird weather up here. It's like stinking hot, and pouring with rain. And but yeah, it's still love a Noosa, even though it's crazy weather at the moment. But much better than all those bushfires, that's for sure. And Tony, yes, you're right, Vanessa. Connecting with people it depends on how you communicate with people and experience the world with communication. Absolutely, Tony. Spot on. It's all up to you. So never be bored. If you're bored, you're the problem, right? Get curious, learn something, fascinate over people, and get outside of yourself. Absolutely. I love that, Tony. And Jared just jumped on. Hope you are having a fantastic weekend. I absolutely am, my friend, and I hope you are as well. Always grateful to to see you and have you join live, as it is each and every one of you guys. And thank you so much for joining me and contributing to the conversation. I absolutely love and appreciate each and every one of you guys. And as always, I'm sending you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I really do hope that it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary, that you're doing something super empowering, and today's message has absolutely served you. Thanks again for everybody joining me live. Love you guys, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. So make sure that you just remind yourself that people are not boring, right? They are just inexperienced with depth, and if you're bored, you're the problem. Get curious and go deep. I love that. And Carla's just joined. I hope you guys who are just catching me now catch the recording, get some value from today's message. And I'm signing off. I'm sending you guys all of my love, and I will see you tomorrow.